and welcome to the One Word Show. I'm Jacob, and this is the most... It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've had zero coffee. Let's do this show in the world. I'm here with Paul.
Hi.
Paul, can you give us, in 20 seconds or less, a short description of your entire life?
Well, I'll just do my Twitter bio. Bio. I'm a likable guy with a lot of charisma who likes the music in church. AD at St. Norbert College. And I think heart emoji, Detroit Tigers and Michigan State.
How do you spell heart emoji?
That's where you need the action.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So, my question for you, do you know what we're doing?
You are going to give me 2 words to choose from. And after you give me those 2 words, I have to, think about it for a second or two and then choose a word and then pontificate on said word for a time yet to be determined.
I like that word, pontificate.
Yes.
Fun one. I do like big vocabularies and using fun words that people don't often recognize, and that's a good one.
Yes.
Especially if it confuses people. That's fun.
And the best thing about pontification is usually people don't have a basis of knowledge. They just like to, have, verbal diarrhea and go through things. So that's, maybe what this will be.
Yeah. Is that going to be our new slogan? It's just verbal diarrhea.
There might be a point where you're just like, okay, time out. I got to bring you back in.
So you were on our sister show, Political Radar, a couple weeks ago. And when you were on, I produced that show with Darian, who's currently producing this show. Hi, Darian.
Hi, Darian.
Bye, Darian. And we were talking right after the show was done. I was just saying, hey, thanks for coming on. And I don't remember who brought up One Word Show. Mm-hmm. And your reaction was, I know One Word Show. I like that. And I'm like, you're lying.
No, I think it's fun. I think it's a mental challenge, and so I am excited.
That's our new slogan, mentally challenging.
So I'm excited and scared all in the same time. It's that mix of feelings.
All right. A whole basket of emotions. We're coming up with a bunch of them today.
Yes.
All right, so let's get on with the show, so to say. I have 2 words for you.
Okay.
Before we started, we did a live stream to Facebook. Look at that. I'm plugging everything today.
Yes.
So if you don't like One Word Show on Facebook, you should, to get special sneak peeks days before these episodes come out, so you can know who my guest is before we actually do the episode, before it comes out, and get some funny jokes. Ha-has.
Yes, maybe.
So I asked you before we started what 2 words you thought you were going to get.
I guessed knowledge, which is something I can, speak about for a while, and Jupiter, which I would have to then pontificate because I don't know much past my 3rd grade knowledge on Jupiter.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to say you didn't get either of those words.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know. You were so close, but they're like 70,000 words, I wonder how many words there actually are in the English language.
Oh, tens of thousands. I'm sure the people at Merriam-Webster would say that. And new ones get added all the time.
Yes. Your words are going to be really obscure slang terms that just came out.
Yes.
I think we need a new word for slang as a side note, because slang is it just sounds incredibly lame.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm hip with the slang. No.
And then if you are, like an international person and come here and then you have to explain to people what all those idioms are, hey, we're just hanging out. You think of that, actually, we're not hanging out. You have other things like that. And it's really hard to explain that to folks.
I believe Spanish, the way you say that you're making a line is that you're creating a tale.
Okay.
So that's one of their idioms I remember. Don't quote me on that, please, because I might be wrong, because that was from high school Spanish.
Yes. And for me, much more far removed from high school than you are, but I understand.
So your words.
Okay.
Let's get back to them, because I can talk about literally anything for hours before we get to them.
So you're saying my redirection hasn't been working?
You're just trying to avoid it as long as you can. So your words, you guys ready for this? Your words are apartment or crystal.
Apartment and crystal.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Pretty decent words, I gotta say.
Decent words.
So think it over in your head for a couple seconds.
Okay.
Not too long because we don't want much silence.
Okay.
That bores people and they leave, and we need that sweet retention time.
Of the two, I would say I probably know much more about apartments than I do crystals.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna have to go with apartment.
Okay. So I'm sure you probably have picked up on this. Typically, I like to ask one question about the word they don't choose before we move on. So what's your favorite crystal? Before we move on to the word you actually chose. This is close to being a democracy, but I'm still in charge here.
You would have to give me some options of crystals.
Okay. Think gemstones. Let's go gemstones.
Oh, not people. Okay.
No,
that's a lot easier then.
Hey, that's crystal with a K sometimes.
Oh,
and that
okay.
gets confused. So do you like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds?
I would say diamonds. We are.
How original.
I know. Well, I was engaged last October. So then, of course, went to diamond shopping and have to deal with the clarity and color and all of that other fun stuff.
C's.
Yes, doing all those fun C's. So yes, we are.
Clarity, carat, color.
Yes.
Not in that order.
So we're 22 days away from the wedding right now, since we're filming this on the 2nd of June. So
Am I invited?
It's
wow. Look at that! I'm just throwing myself in like a jerk.
Well, the wedding is just family, so there's going to only be 10 people.
Got it. So I'll be there.
And feel free. The celebration of marriage is going to be at the Timber Rattler Stadium during a game. We've got rented out the Miller Lite deck there,
wow,
and it's
fancy.
Star Wars night. So if you want to dress up,
night. Are you going to be dressing up, Darth Vader?
I don't think so. That would that'd be a bad omen for our marriage to do. Darth Vader.
True.
I think my body style is more Chewbacca-like, but
who has a happy marriage in the Star Wars series?
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
So, apartments.
Maybe you should have picked Crystal then. Jeez.
Apartments.
Apartments, yes.
Have you lived in an apartment?
Yes, I have been an apartment dweller before. Not a huge fan of having to live in apartments. They like to have a little bit space and be able to have, go out to have a yard. That's one of the things I missed. Mm-hmm. Plus, most apartments are not animal friendly.
True.
And we are cat people. We're not dog people. I've had 2 rescue cats. I think Kiki is about 15 years old and Winnie is about 10. So
hey, we relate. I have 2 cats in my apartment.
Okay.
They are both getting up there in age. One is 18.
Oh, wow.
And the other is 17.
Okay.
So hairballs everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So Kiki, both of them are rescues. Kiki, we're out running one day and had to go to the bathroom, cut through the woods, and found Kiki like under a tree. And so she was as big as my palm. She has a broken paw, but she doesn't know that. And then a few years after, we thought that she needed a friend, so we got her Winnie, who was a barn cat. So Winnie is like 23 pounds. She's a huge orange, massive, and they are whiny children. Like when I moved from Michigan to Wisconsin, you have the hour time change.
Right.
Well, cats have zero idea that the time has changed. And so usually we fed them about 5:30-ish in the morning. Well, to them, in Central Time Zone, that's 4:30 a.m.
Right.
So we had a little bit of hard transition when we moved a while ago now. But they're getting, they're more on the sunrise now. They're more on my schedule.
I see.
So that's been good.
That's still way too early for me.
Yes, and then the apartment stuff you have the noisy neighbors. When I first moved to Brown County, I lived in an apartment on the west side, and my bedroom attached to the stairway up. And so someone, I think, went to work about 5 a.m., and someone got home about 2 a.m. from work, and I knew their schedules very, very well.
So I currently live in an apartment.
Okay.
Being the 20-year-old millennial that I am.
Yes.
I live in an apartment, and I have a lot of those same complaints, but I still kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
So my apartment, none of the outlets work in my apartment.
Okay.
The person upstairs likes to party on the weekends.
Okay.
With very loud music.
Is it at least music that you like?
Sometimes.
Okay.
It's a lot of EDM. Occasionally, there's some good hip hop.
Okay.
Which is nice. But I only get the bass coming from upstairs, so like I can barely tell.
So you have your own dance party in your own apartment.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely not sitting at home watching
glow sticks, or no?
Netflix.
I mean, do you buy then glow sticks then? So you just have a pop-up party.
Maybe I should, like, as a peace offering. And our apartment is. And we've got a decently large apartment, but I still wish we had more space, especially storage space, because I've got a ton of stuff that I really could use more storage space.
Yeah.
But there are benefits to apartments. I mean, they're cheap.
When something breaks, it's just a phone call away.
Yes, minus my outlets, because I keep procrastinating fixing them.
Okay.
I just need to make a phone call, and I keep procrastinating on it. You know how that is, right?
Well, I'm a person, I don't like making phone calls. I love text apps. I love if I can do things online. So
my big issue with texting, the thing I use most is Facebook Messenger, as you know, because that's how I contacted you to get on this show. That's like my place. My issue is occasionally, and I do this more often than I should. Someone will, send me a message and like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I will think about my reply and then never send it.
Okay.
And
I have a friend who just does like invitations to things, like she has a pool and we'll say, "Hey, come for a pool party," but we'll just do it on Snapchat. And I don't have the notification set up on Snapchat. It's one of those things, like if I'm bored, I'll look to see like people's stories. And so it'll be like 3 days. I'll get the, "Hey, come for the pool party." I'll picture the pool. Then the next one will be like people having fun at the pool. And then the next one will be a sad face because I never responded. Like, maybe that's not the best way to get a hold of me. So when you looked for your apartment, like what were some of the features that you wanted in an apartment?
That's a good question, and I'll ask you the same.
I'm flipping the script here.
I know. For me, honestly, and I didn't care literally anything about the apartment I live in, or the apartment I used to live in, which happened to be in the same like complex. It was all location for me, because I don't drive.
Okay.
So I rely heavily on public transportation.
Yeah.
And my current apartment is right on one of the nicest like lines for our bus system downtown, which is the downtown area is where our offices is. So it's like 10 minutes from home to work and back.
That is always nice.
Yeah.
It's always very interesting to me that oftentimes the people that make decisions about public transportation have never taken public transportation ever.
Actually, public transportation is an issue that I really care about, and I can talk about for hours.
Oh yeah.
So that's like my cup of tea. If I'm the video games, other nerdy things, tech stuff, and public transportation guy.
Yes. I used to live in the suburbs of Detroit. And
I'm sorry.
Because, hey, don't say it's sorry. That was one of the best places I've ever lived. And I will fight people about when people.
Suburbs.
Well, no, I will fight people on Detroit. It is a phoenix that is rising, and so many cool things have happened downtown.
I actually read an article saying that the past 2 years they've had a surplus.
Oh,
That's really cool.
Yes, they just added, because of the car industry, like no public transportation wasn't funded very well, and it didn't go out. And so they just opened a light rail line to go down Woodward Avenue, which is the kind of the heart of the city. And Detroit was built kind of like with Paris in mind, and so it's a wagon wheel, so it's really set up weird. So there's a huge roundabout, and then it has spokes off. So it's kind of nice to have the ability to kind of go up and down on that.
Did you have an apartment in Detroit?
I did. We had a really cool place. It was a bunch of studio apartments, and my roommate and I had the manager's apartment, which was like 1,800 square feet. So it was a lot bigger than any two guys in their 20s needed. We could set up a batting cage up there. We could hit golf balls.
Your own mini golf course.
Yeah, we had our own bathroom and a guest bathroom. I don't even know how this worked. He was huge into the hockey that is kind of
Air hockey?
It's
Or
not
like,
air hockey, but it's got the twisty
oh,
ones.
like sometimes they do like the big
Like table
domes over
yeah,
them.
it's a table hockey.
Yeah.
He was a collector of ancient ones, so he had
Really?
like 40 of them, and so once a year he'd have a table hockey party.
That
So
sounds
and we could fit lots of
Pretty
people
cool,
there.
not gonna lie.
Yeah, the only thing I did not like about the apartment is I didn't have covered parking, and I hate scraping my car.
Ah,
So when I look at apartments for me, as one is I want that walkability because I love waking up Saturday morning, going down to the local coffee shop, reading the newspaper, and kind of doing that. But covered parking, I hate scraping the cars.
that's the big thing for you.
Yes.
So like that's your selling point's covered parking. For me, it's location near public transportation.
Yes, it's adult, and I like mixed use things.
Yeah.
And so on the last show, that one of the places, the condos that I looked at before I moved here, had the beauty parlor, a distillery, a butcher shop, and a Jimmy John's. So that meets almost all my needs.
Especially that beauty parlor, right?
I mean, go get my eyebrows shredded,
nice perm?
and everyone likes nice pedicure, manicure. I mean, everyone likes to be pampered a little bit.
All right. So, do you have any apartment horror stories?
I do not.
Because I've heard plenty. I don't have many, unfortunately. I do have like little ones, but nothing cool.
I do have one. So I lived in an older apartment when I first moved, got out of college. And it was very diverse housing. We had folks from all around. We had gone to an event. We're gone for a couple of days. When you're in your 20s, every weekend's like a bachelor party, a couple shower, a wedding. I mean, that's almost all your summer.
Yep.
So we had gone.
I'm just getting to that point. So,
Yeah. I'm in the next stage of now I'm having students that I taught invited to my weddings, and we're doing second and third weddings. So I don't think it ever ceases. But we had gotten down, we'd come in, and it was just like an awful smell. Well, the garbage disposal line had backed up, and we were on the bottom floor. And so everything people had put through their garbage disposal in the last week was in our bathtub.
Oh, that's gross.
So, and of course, we got back like late on a Sunday night, and of course, they don't want. And when you call, and they say, "What level of emergency is this?" And for me, an emergency is, something's on fire, someone dies, or Anderson Cooper is on my lawn. So those are kind of my levels of emergency.
Those are pretty high emergencies.
But I'm pretty sure like a bathtub full of disposed food waste that hits the emergency line. So.
Yeah, that tops anything I got. Not kidding. Like the most crazy thing happened, and this was a couple months ago for me, was we did have a small fire in my apartment building. That's it. That's it.
Right.
Not a cool story at all. I didn't even care enough to find out what caused the fire. And it wasn't a major fire. It was like just someone's kitchen or something,
So, I work for colleges. In my previous institution, I was responsible for all the residence halls on campus.
Okay.
So I was the landlord, not really because we have a director, but I was a landlord for 3,000 students that lived on campus. And so we have some wonderful, wonderful stories from that.
I bet.
One time we had, we built these buildings and we built them green. And so to get the LEED certification, one of the things that you have to do is like the air handling and the amount of fresh air and the air that recirculates. Mm-hmm. Well, we had a student that was walking up one of the stairwells and had borrowed one of his classmates' keys. And she had this weird, kind of stick thing on her keychain, so he thought he'd play with it. Well, it was pepper spray. And so he had a medical emergency because he sprayed himself like directly right in the eye. Ooh. And then the problem with the way our HVAC system worked is that pepper spray then wafted in almost every residence hall room and apartment in that building. So we had to evacuate the building. It was during finals week.
Even better.
Yeah, our housing director, our live-in person had just gone on maternity leave, so I think she had like a 2-week-old baby. And so she's standing out there. And this is, right before Christmas, so it's it wasn't the best times. And the funny thing is because, I didn't live on campus. I was, so that phone call is, and these things always happen at like 1:15 in the morning.
Of course.
And I always tell people, if I don't pick up the first time, I always call twice because it gives me a chance to like recognize the phone is ringing and then wake up so I can have a decent conversation with a person. But they had to explain it to me 3 times of what happened. So not always the phone call. So those are always a fun apartment stories.
To be fair, if you're giving someone your keys and you got pepper spray on it, maybe warn them.
Yeah, that's a definite disclaimer.
Yes, disclaim if you have something that can injure people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like here are my keys. I have this weird surveillance system and an anti-theft system. So when you turn the keys, a huge axe goes in front of the door. You should tell people that.
Yeah, that is something good. Now, next question.
Okay.
I'm sure you've got more stories, but we do have a limit on time.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more. Maybe we'll probably have you back. Maybe talk some more fun stories. But do you have any, after living in apartments and working, with dorm rooms and all that stuff?
Yeah.
What's one apartment pro tip you have for maybe someone moving out of their parents' house into their first ever apartment?
My pro tip is it's always smaller than you think it is. So don't, make sure that you get in before you get your furniture, and don't put anything on the walls that's not taped on, because when you move out, they gouge you for every hole, as well as you think that you could spackle. And even if you go and get, go to Home Depot and get the exact paint match, it'll never be enough, and you'll still get charged that, a few $100s. So you're never going to get your deposit back.
Right. That's a pretty good set of advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't let people borrow your keys and spray themselves in the face with pepper spray.
Yes.
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 So I think those are some good life lessons.
Yes.
Do you have anything else you want to add before we go?
I don't think so. I was happy that even though I don't have a whole lot of apartment experience, and when you said crystal, my mind completely blanked. I'm glad we filled the time with with discussions on apartments, and we could sit and probably not at 9 in the morning, but have some drinks and discuss some Residence Hall horror stories.
One word show, just filling the time. All right. Well, thank you.
A cornucopia of ideas. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me and
no problem. I'd
early
be happy
in the
to be
morning talking about apartments or something like that. So if you guys like this episode, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can, like I said earlier, find us on Facebook. You can listen to the audio versions literally anywhere. We're everywhere.
And on YouTube, make sure that you click on the bell, because then you get the notifications when the new one
You really
comes
are
out.
a YouTube pro. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I learned that here when I was here last time.
Right, because you're on Political Radar. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you can check out our website, www.onewordshow.com.
Yes. The number one, not the word one.
Actually, we have both.
One, okay.
Just in case people pick it up. So
yes.
Look at that.
When you're on the Google machine,
yep,
you can do
we thought of every angle.
Wow.
Yeah. For once, we're actually prepared. So thanks again for joining me.
No problem.
I guess that's everything. So it's just time to say goodbye. Right. Thanks for watching.